Hello and welcome to this final first look exploring session, looking at The Silent Woman, or Epicene, or however you want to pronounce that, by Ben Jonson. It is a chunky play, not the longest Ben Jonson play by any stretch of the imagination, but you still need to cut quite a lot of it to get it down to a more standard performance length. So that's our primary research question. If we were academics, we're not. Well, most of us aren't. That would be our question. What do we remove? How do we clarify and keep it going forward? It moves at a fair old lick, and so far we found some very obvious cuts and some less clear cuts. But anyway, Act 5 today to find out what we need to do with the catastrophe. I think that's what Ben Jonson will call what's going to happen next. He was very keen on his structure of drama and comedy, and we're heading towards the catastrophe. Four scenes for Act 5. Reading that today, we have a wonderful room of readers, some of whom have been here throughout, some of whom have popped in and out on the Ben Jonson bandwagon as we've gone. Reading today, Haughty and Amorous is...
Donald in Northamptonshire.
Reading Clarimont and Cutbeard today is...
Aliki in Athens.
Reading Mavis, Daw and Otter is...
Lynn in the Northwest United States.
Reading Mistress, Otter and Dauphine is...
Sue in London.
Reading Morose today is...
I am Greg, and I really hope she gets more quiet than she has been my wife.
Well, we'll see. Many things we'll find out, I'm sure, as reading Centaure and Epicene is...
Connor in London.
And we should have at least one latecomer arriving to read True-wit anon. But for now, I'm your host, Robert Crighton. I'll be reading stage directions and hopefully not True-wit. So, without further ado, Act 5, Scene 1. Enter Amorous Le Foule. I don't know, is it Le Foule or is it La Foule? And Clarimont and Daw.
Where had you our swords, Master Clarimont?
Why, Dauphine took them from the madman.
He took them from our boys, I warrant you.
Very likely, sir.
Thank you, good Master Clarimont. Sir John Daw and I are both beholden to you.
Would I knew how to make you so, gentlemen.
Oh, Sir Amorous and I are your servants, sir.
Enter Mavis.
Oh. Gentlemen, have any of you pen and ink? I would fain write out a riddle in Italian for Sir Dauphine to translate.
Not I. In troth, lady, I am no scrivener.
I can furnish you, I think, lady.
Exeunt Daw and Mavis.
Both of me.
He has it in the haft of a knife, I believe.
No, he has his box of instruments.
Like a surgeon.
For the mathematics, his square, his compass, his brass pens and black lead. Draw maps of every place and person where he comes.
How maps of persons?
Yes, sir, of Nomentak when he was here, and the Prince of Moldavia, and of his mistress, Mistress Epicene.
Enter Daw.
Away. He hath not found out her latitude, I hope.
You are a pleasant gentleman, sir.
Faith, now we're in private. Let's wanton it a little and talk waggishly. Sir John, I'm telling Sir Amorous here that you too govern the ladies wherever you come. You carry the feminine gender afore you.
They shall rather carry us afore them, if they will, sir.
They do not. You are the prime men in their affections and direct all their actions.
Oh, not I. Sir Amorous is.
I protest Sir John is.
As I hope to rise in the state, Sir Amorous, you have the person.
Sir John, you have the person and the discourse too.
No, not I, sir. I have no discourse, and then you have an activity beside.
I protest, Sir John. You come as high from Tripoli as I do, every whit, and lift as many joined stools and leap over them if you would use it.
Well, agree on t'other knights, for between you, you divide the kingdom or commonwealth of ladies' affections. I see it, and can perceive a little how they observe you, and fear you, indeed. You could tell strange stories, my masters, if you would, I know.
Faith, we have seen somewhat, sir.
That we have. Velvet petticoats and wrought smocks or so.
Aye, and
Nay, out with it, Sir John. Do not envy your friend the pleasure of hearing when you have had the delight of tasting.
why, do you speak, Sir Amorous?
No, do you, Sir John Dore?
In faith, you shall.
Faith, you shall.
Why, we have been...
In the great bed at Ware together in our time. On, Sir John.
Nay, do you, Sir Amorous?
And these ladies with you, knights?
No, excuse us, sir.
Oh, sorry. We must not wound reputation.
No matter. They were these or others. Our bath cost us £15 when we came home.
You hear, Sir John? You shall tell me but one thing truly, as you love me.
If I can, I will.
You lay in the same house with the bride here?
Yes, and conversed with her hourly, sir.
And what humor is she of? Is she coming and open? Free?
Oh, exceeding open, sir. I was her servant, and Sir Amorous was to be.
Come, you have both had favors from her. I know and have heard so much.
Oh, no, sir.
You shall excuse us, sir. We must not wound reputation.
She is married now, and you cannot hurt her with any report. Therefore, speak plainly. How many times, i' faith, huh? Which of you led first, huh?
Sir John had her maidenhead indeed.
Oh, it pleases him to say so, but Sir Amorous knows what is what as well.
Dost thou, i' faith, Amorous?
In a manner, sir.
Why, I commend you, lads. Little knows Don bridegroom of this, nor shall he for me.
Hang him, mad ox.
Speak softly. Here comes his nephew with the lady Haughty. He'll get the ladies from you, sir, if you look not to him in time.
Why, if he do, we'll fetch them home again, I warrant you.
And exit Amorous with door, but Clarimont walks aside. We'll pause there. This is plot setup thing time. This is to a purpose. It's an interesting question whether those who don't know the play know why any of this is happening. Has it been stated, stated? Anyone who's been reading along, does anyone recall this being set up? Or is this just coming out at us out of the blue? I don't think this has been set up, but I cannot remember.
There was some courting about the ladies being into Jack Daw, but nothing about Epicoene's relationships with anybody.
Yes, I thought it was new. I was just checking because, of course, we've just entered a new act, so there's always a little sort of jump of maybe time's moved forward, maybe but sometimes they set up the action for the next act and sort of line it up. Whereas I think this sort of feels like it's come slightly out of left field, but it is definitely important, as it were.
Is it?
Yes,
I know this play, and I don't really see why this is important. We'll come back to that when we.
Oh well. I may be less important than I think it is, but it is leading somewhere. It's not just though it could be argued it is just some men being awful men. Aliki,
and it's longer than it needs to be.
Yeah, and these guys are pretty awful. Clarimont is pretty awful. I think all the jokes about her so far have been, gosh, she's so quiet, so quiet. Oh, no, she talks all the time and really loudly too and orders you about.
Lynn.
No,
you have not. Yes. So, but we've got some men bragging over things that may or may not have actually happened, and it's as an interesting sort of case of what men sometimes do. Aliki.
Well, and these are the two guys who were in the closets before being told each that the other was their enemy, right? And then they were told that they needed to make really nice. So presumably that's why they're all going, no, it was you.
Yes. They're bonding now, you see, having been through a scene of physical violence. They're now bosom companions. Any other thoughts now that we're sort of vaguely? It's like it's always this thing, and there's a little gap between sessions of going. And where were we again? Oh yes, okay. I think I've grounded myself now.
Feels a bit full on smut. I would say that's got to be really fast, hasn't it? That scene.
Yes. But also just on Lynn's, I think Lynn said just now, it's too long and it can be cut. I think we can get to it, but there is something to play there. I think there is Don.
I was going to say, one of the discussions we had a couple of days ago was about the way in which it feels like a restoration comedy, and this does feel very much like, the fops having their usual sort of banter. It's got that sort of feel to it. So. But yeah, a few trims along the way.
Yeah. Okay, well, the scene continues as we go into scene 2. Act 5, scene 2. Clarimont has walked aside, but enter Dauphine and Haughty.
I assure you, Sir Dauphine, it is the price and estimation of your virtue only that hath embarked me to this adventure, and I could not make but out to tell you so, nor can I repent me of the act, since it's always an argument of some virtue in ourselves. We love to affect it so in others.
Your ladyship sets too high a price on my weakness.
Sir, I can distinguish gems from pebbles.
Are you so skillful in stones?
And howsoever I may suffer in such judgment of yours, by admitting equality of rank or society with Centaure or Mavis.
You do not, madam. I perceive they are your mere foils.
Then you are a friend to truth, sir. It makes me love you the more. It is not the outward, but the inward man that I affect. They are not apprehensive of our eminent perfection, but love flat and dully.
Where are you, my lady Haughty?
I come presently, Centaure. My chamber, sir, my page shall show you, and Trusty, my woman, shall be ever awake for you. You need not fear to communicate anything with her, for she is a Fidelia. I pray you, wear this jewel for my sake, Sir Dauphine.
Enter Centaure.
Where is Mavis, Centaure?
Within, madam, a writing. I'll follow you presently.
Exit Haughty.
I'll but speak a word with you, Sir Dauphine.
With me, madam?
Good, Sir Dauphine. Do not trust Haughty, nor make any credit to her. Whatever you do besides, Sir Dauphine, I give you this caution. She is but a perfect courtier and loves nobly but for her uses. And for her uses, she loves all. Besides, her physicians give her out to be none of the clearest, whether she pay them or no, heaven knows. And she's about 52, and purgets. See, her in a forenoon. Oh, here comes Mavis, a worse face than she. You would not like this by candlelight.
Enter Mavis.
If you come to my chamber one of these mornings early, or late in an evening, I shall tell you more. Where's Haughty, Mavis?
Within, Centaure.
What have you there?
Oh, an Italian riddle for Sir Dauphine. You shall not see it in faith, Centaure.
Exit Centaure.
Good Sir Dauphine, solve it for me. I'll call for it anon.
Exit Mavis.
How now, Dauphine? How dost thou quit thyself of these females?
Blight. They haunt me like fairies and give me jewels here. I cannot be rid of them.
Oh, you must not tell, though.
Mass, I forgot that. I was never so assaulted. One loves for virtue and bribes me with this.
Shows the jewel.
Another loves me with caution and so would possess me. A third brings me a riddle here, and all are jealous and rail at each other.
Riddle? Pray, let me see it. Sir Dauphine, I chose this way of intimation for privacy. The ladies here, I know, have both hope and purpose to make a collegiate and servant of you. If I might be so honoured as to appear at any end of so noble a work, I would enter into a fame of taking physic tomorrow and continue it 4 or 5 days, or longer, for your visitation. Mavis. By my faith, a subtle one. Call you this a riddle? What's their plain dealing, trow?
We lack True-wit to tell us that.
We lack him for somewhat else, too. His knights and reformados are wound up as high and insolent as ever they were.
You jest.
No drunkards, either with wine or vanity, ever confessed such stories of themselves. I would not give a fly's leg in balance against all the women's reputations here, if they could be but thought to speak truth. And for the bride, they have made their affidavit against her directly.
What? That they have lain with her?
Yes, and tell times and circumstances with the cause why and the place where. I had almost brought them to affirm that they had done it today.
Not both of them.
Yes, faith. With a sleuth or two more, I had effected it. They would have set it down under their hands.
Why, they will be our sport, I see, still, whether we will or no.
And they remain on stage before the entrance of True-wit. So this is a continuation of the plot thread started last act, where now all the ladies are hot for trot for Dauphine, and one at a time they're coming on and saying, oh, don't trust the other ones. Me. And yeah, so it's a very schematic little scene, but actually it doesn't, I don't think it overstays its welcome, actually, in terms of the structure of it. It actually moves fairly swiftly through. And then we get the people reminding us there's a plot going on, which I don't think we really need very much of, actually. Hi, do you remember there was a plot? Yes, there's a plot. Is it going on? Yes, it is.
I love the relationship with Clarimont as well, actually, during that scene. It's fun. It's not too creepy.
No.
That's because True-wit hasn't come back yet.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, he's
not
got
met him yet.
Yeah, True-wit's got the concession on creepy bloke energy. He's got it by the pound. I mean, they're all a bit creepy. I mean, it's basically what they're finding hilarious. This is the thing. These are some pranksters with their funny things, and we managed to persuade some of these idiots to say that they've slept with someone and brag about it, and isn't that going to be hilarious? And it's like, maybe not. Maybe it's not funny. Maybe you're just an asshole. So it's as ever, it's this sort of question of, are we laughing with them or are we laughing at them? And what is the text saying our attitude to these people should be? And at the moment, I'm afraid Ben Jonson is probably more with them than against them. So, yeah, other thoughts in the room? I haven't said hello to Alan, who's going to be reading True-wit in a moment.
Hi.
So, yeah, any other thoughts before we go into the continuation of the action? No. Nobody's got any more. Okay, let's. We've got Clarimont and Dauphine. The triad will now be complete. Act 5, Scene 3. Enter True-wit.
Come, Dauphine. Go call your uncle presently. I've fitted my divine and my canonist, dyed their beards and all. Knaves do not know themselves. They're so exalted and altered. Preferment changes any man. Thou shalt keep one door, and I another, and then Clarimont in the midst, that he may have no means of escape from their cavilling when they grow hot once again. Then the women, as I've given the bride her instructions to break in upon him in the Lenvoy. Oh, 'twill be full and twanging. Away! Fetch him!
Exit Dauphine. Enter Otter disguised as a divine and Cutbeard as a canon lawyer.
Ah, Master Doctor and Master Parson, look to your parts now. Discharge them bravely. You're well set forth. Perform it as well. You chance to be out. Do not confess it with standing still or humming or gaping one at another, but go on and talk aloud and eagerly. Use vehement action and only remember your terms and you are safe. Let the matter go where it will. You will have many will do it. Do so. But at first be very solemn and grave like your garments, though you lose yourselves after, and skip out like a brace of jugglers on a table. Here he comes. Set your faces and look superciliously while I present you.
I'm going to pause us there because True-wit said something I don't hate. It's lovely. So what we've got here is just a little improv acting class from the early modern period. It's like, don't worry about knowing your lines. If you forget your lines, it's fine. Just throw some random legal terms out every so often. You'll be okay. You'll be fine. You've got this. You've got this. I'm not saying I've delivered a version of this speech to actors before in the past. But yeah, no, you've got this.
Geppetto.
You've got this. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. We're doomed. So no, I really quite like that, and again, it's got a certain energy and a pushing forward of okay, plot's happening. We've got some people in disguise to interact with other people. Comedy business may occur any second now. People have stopped talking to each other. Great. So I just thought I'd say that before stuff happens. Okay. Enter Dauphine with Morose.
Are these the two learned men?
Sir, please you salute them.
Salute them. I'd rather do anything than wear out time so unfruitfully, sir. I want to have these common forms, as God save you and you are welcome, are come to be a habit in our lives. Or I am glad to see you. When I cannot see what the profit can be of those words, so long as it is no whit better with him whose affairs are sad and glorious, that he hears this salutation.
'Tis true, sir. We'll go to the matter then. Gentlemen, Master Doctor and Master Parson, I have acquainted you sufficiently with the business for which you are come hither, and you are not now to inform yourselves in the state of the question, I know. This is the gentleman who expects your resolution, and therefore, when you please, begin.
Please you, Master Doctor.
Please you, good Master Parson.
I would hear the canon law speak first.
I must give place to positive divinity, sir.
Oh, nay, good gentlemen, do not throw me into circumstances. Let your comforts arrive quickly at me, those that are. Be swift in affording me my peace. If so, I shall hope I love not your disputations or your court tumults. And that it be not strange to you, I will tell you. My father, in my education, was wont to advise me that I should always collect and contain my mind, not suffering it to flow loosely. That I should look to what things were necessary to the carriage of my life and what not, embracing the one and eschewing the other. In short, that I should endear myself to rest and avoid turmoil, which now is grown to be another nature to me, so that I come not to your public pleadings, your places of noise, not that I neglect those things that make me for the dignity of the Commonwealth, but for the mere avoiding of clamours and impertinent series of orators, that know not how to be silent, and for the cause of noise, am I now a suitor to you? You do not know in what a misery I have been exercised this day. What a torrent of evil. My very house turns round with a tumult. I dwell in a windmill. The perpetual motion is here and not at Eltham.
Well, good Master Doctor, will you break the ice? Master Parson will wade after.
Sir, though unworthy and the weaker, I will presume.
Oh, 'tis no presumption, Domine Doctor.
Yet again!
Your question is for how many causes a man may have divorcium legitimum, a lawful divorce. First, you must understand the nature of the word divorce. Divertendo.
No excursions upon words, good doctor, to the question briefly.
I answer then, the canon law affords divorce but in a few cases, and the principle is in the common case, sir, the adulterous case. But there are duodecim impedimentia, 12 impediments, as we call them, all of which do not diribere contractum, but eritum redere matrimonium, as we say in the canon law, not take away the bond, but cause a nullity therein.
I understood you before. Good sir, avoid your impertinency of translation.
You cannot open this too much, sir, by your favour.
Get more!
Oh, you must give the learned men leave, sir. To your impediments, Master Doctor.
The first is impedentum erroris.
Of which there are several species.
Aye, that's error personae.
If you contract yourself to one person thinking her another.
Then error fortunae.
If she be a beggar and you thought her rich.
Then error qualitatis.
If she proves stubborn or headstrong that you thought obedient.
Oh, is that sir, a lawful impediment? One at once, I pray you, gentlemen.
Ante copulum, not post copulum, sir.
Master Parson says right, nec post nuptiarum benedictionem, it doth indeed, but irritare de responsalia, but annul the contract after marriage, it is of no obstancy.
Alas, sir, what a hope are we fallen from by this time?
The next is conditio, if you thought her freeborn, and she prove a bondwoman, there is impediment of estate and condition.
Aye, but Master Doctor, those servitudes are sublate now among us Christians.
By your favour, Master Parson.
You shall give me leave, Master Doctor.
Oh, nay, gentlemen, quarrel not in that question. It concerns not my case. Pass it to the third.
Well, then the third is volume, if either party have made a vow of chastity, but that practice, as Master Morson said, of the other is taken away among us, thanks be to discipline. The fourth is cognatio, if the person be of kin within the degrees.
Aye, do you know what the degrees are, sir?
No, nor I care not, sir. They offer me no comfort in the question, I am sure.
But there is a branch of this impediment may, which is cognatio spiritualis. If you were her godfather, so then the marriage is incestuous.
That comment is absurd and superstitious, Master Doctor. I cannot endure it. Are we not all brothers and sisters and as much kin in that as godfathers and goddaughters?
Oh, me. To end the controversy, I never was a godfather. I was never a godfather in my life. Past the next.
The fifth is crimen adulteri, the known case. The sixth, cultus disparitas, difference of religion. Have you ever examined her? What religion is she of?
No, I would rather she were of none than be put to the trouble of it.
You may have it done for you, sir.
By no means, good sir. On to the rest. Shall you ever come to an end? Thank you.
This is done half, sir. On to the rest. Be patient and expect, sir.
The seventh is vis, if it were upon compulsion or force.
Oh, no, it was too voluntary, mine, too voluntary.
The eighth is ordo, if ever she have taken holy orders.
Oh, that's superstitious too.
No matter, Master Parson. Would she go into a nunnery yet?
The ninth is ligamen, if you were bound, sir, to any other before.
I thrust myself too soon into these fetters.
The 10th is publica honestas, which is in coata quaedam affinitas.
I, or affinitas orta ex sponsilibus, and is but leve impedimentum.
I feel no air of comfort blowing to me in all this.
The 11th is affinitas ex fornicatione,
which is no less vera affinitas than the other, Master Doctor.
True quaeritur ex legitimo matrimonio.
You say right, venerable Doctor, and nascitur ex eo quad per conjugiam due personae efficiantur un caro.
Hey! Day now they begin.
I conceive you, Master Parson, ita per fornicatione aquae est verus pater qui sic generat.
Et vere filius qui sic generatur.
Oh, what's all this to me?
And now it grows warm. The 12th and last is si forte coire nequibus.
Ah, that is impedimentum gravissimum. It doth utterly annul and annihilate that. If you have manifestum frigiditatum, you are well, sir.
Why, there's comfort come at length, sir. Confess yourself but a man unable, and she will sue to be divorced first.
Aye, or if there be morbis perpetuus et insanabrius as paralysis elementiasis or so.
Oh, but frigidus is the fairer way, gentlemen.
You say troth, sir, and as it is in canon, Master Doctor.
I conceive you, sir. Before he speaks,
that a boy or child under years is not fit for marriage because he cannot redere debitum. So your omnipotentes.
Your impotentes, you wholesome lobster.
Your impotentes. I should say, are minime apti ad contrahenda matrimonium.
Matrimonium? We shall have most unmatrimonial Latin with you. Matrimonia. Be hanged.
You put them out, man.
But then there will arise a doubt, Master Parson, in our case post-matrimonial, that frigiditate praeditus, do you conceive me, sir?
Oh, very well, sir.
Who cannot uti uxore pro uxore me habere eam prosorore.
Absurd, and merely apostatical.
You shall pardon me, Master Parson, I can prove it.
You can prove a will, Master Doctor, you can prove nothing else. Does not the verse of your own canon say, Hec socianda vetant conubia, facta retractant?
I grant you, but how do they retractare, Master Parson, eh?
Oh, this is what I feared.
In aeternum, sir.
That's false in divinity by your favour.
'Tis false humanity to say so. Is he not Porsus inutilis ad thorum? Can he prestere fidem doctum? I would fain know.
Yes, how if he do convalere?
He cannot convalere, it is impossible.
Nay, good sir, attend the learned men, they will think you neglect them else.
Or if he do simulare himself frigidum audio uxoris or so.
I say he is adulter manifestus then.
They disputed very learnedly, faith.
And prostitutor uxoris, and this is positive.
Good sir, let me escape.
You will not be doing me that wrong, sir.
And therefore, if he be manifeste frigidus, sir.
Aye, if he be manifeste frigidus, I grant you.
Why, that is my conclusion.
And mine too.
Now, hear the conclusion, sir.
Then Freitas causa.
Yes, causa Freitas.
Oh, my ears!
She may have libellum divortii against you.
Aye, divorti libellum she will sure have.
Good echoes forbear.
If you confess it.
Which I would do, sir.
I will do anything.
And clear myself in foro conscientiae.
Because you want indeed.
Yet more!
Exercendi potestate.
And they remain on stage. End of that unit of action. Okay, there are questions to ask about how this scene functions. So obviously, the basic joke is, as ever, Morose doesn't want to listen to people talk. He is surrounded by people who will incessantly talk. The double act between the two fake learned people is quite nicely structured. The problem is the Latin is relatively... they are making sense, and in a sense that's a problem for us. In this, I'm not saying it's good Latin. They're dancing around sometimes when they slip into bad Latin, and they say, "No, that's wrong, you idiot." But of course, for a modern audience, some people follow some of that, and some of it you can do gestures, but it sort of helps to be able to follow what they're actually, because they're actually making relatively solid arguments about how can you get a divorce. Well, you can do this. Does it fit your case? No, move on. Oh no, but if we do this, so the game is clear, but because they're using a reasonable attempt at Latin, which I suspect the original audience would have been fine with to a much greater degree than we would today. Do we need to do something to make the joke? What do we need to do with this? Because I think the basic structure is fine. There's too much of it. It goes on too long, even at pace. I like the idea that these two just get faster and faster and faster as they go, or something like that. The pacing of this scene is interesting. Anyway, Aliki, thoughts in the room?
Well, I think you could translate it into modern legalese to some extent and throw in a little bit of Latin as they do in modern legalese, because there is, I think, a joke where they get the Latin wrong and Morose corrects them. But I don't think you can have that much Latin, especially since part of the joke, I think, is that their Latin isn't very good.
Yes. And the thing is, I can't pass how bad it is. I'm sort of going, that sort of seems to make sense to me. And so I'm kind of going, I'm sure it's technically wrong on many levels, but it looks okay, apart from they're probably just getting the grammar wrong.
It's like he gets corrected on his case ending. That's a little.
It's too niche, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like 999 out of 1,000 modern auditors is going to catch.
Honestly, even to an early modern audience, I don't know that any of them would have found that quite as funny as Jonson apparently did.
Greg, then Donald, then Susan.
Two things. For some reason, I finally feel sorry for Morose in that scene. But that's mainly because of that argument between the two. And he really is at the middle of it. And it's interesting, we were saying this, I can't remember which session, but we were talking again about how do you level with Morose? Because he's got to start the play almost at frustration points. And so I think, and I'm not sure how well it came across, but I was trying to sort of go between quite loud and quite soft and angry and not so angry and all this sort of thing. I think you level off within scenes almost, how much you might get angry. The other thing I was going to say was, if this was a different play, I'd almost suggest somebody else you pick the thickest character in the scene, you've got somebody explaining to them the Latin, maybe the odd little translation or something, but that just extends the play, unfortunately. But yeah, that's how I dealt with it.
Yeah, and it is that question. Yeah, Morose is a big question, because the thing is, we mustn't feel sorry for him, otherwise the joke ends, because then we're all going, they're just torturing him, leave him alone, he just needs to sit in a corner with with a glass of milk and headphones on, and it's just starts feeling cruel, and that's the thing, is that also this joke has been done quite a few times in this play, so it's a question of how hilarious are we still finding it once we've already done it several times. So it's an interesting, because it's a set piece, it's again, structurally it's fine, I'm not sure how it fits within the structure of the rest of the play and whether is our journey really necessary with this. Anyway, Donald, Susan, then Alan.
A couple of things. First of all, I mean, in one way, the length of the scene is the joke because Morose is being tortured. But if it goes on too long, then obviously it's going to get fairly tedious. I like Aliki's suggestion of maybe using legalese. Perhaps start with the Latin expressions, particularly where there are words like omnipotent and impotent and so on that the audience might pick up, and then maybe just gradually slip into modern legalese without people realising it. That might be a compromise. You can actually start with, so almost the audience are tricked into thinking that they know what is happening.
Or their prop book just ends up the wrong way round, and they just start to do it. You're doing yeah.
Well, yes, and then by that stage it goes into English. Yeah,
because like you can sort of see where alternative business could be substituted here.
Yeah.
Did you say you had two things?
I think I said, I don't know.
Oh,
well,
okay. Anyway, Susan.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I do apologise that it was like, oh, I'm on. Oh, I'm on. Oh, and there were three of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I just would be very, very tempted in completely upstaging, almost falling asleep and then coming back up.
Well, I think you're right about upstaging, but I think the upstaging game for you is different. Because I think because you're stage managing this.
Yes.
They're your meat puppets. So yes, the script only gives you 3 interventions textually, but you're probably don't say this bit. No. Yes. There's probably an awful lot of stuff you could be doing there.
There's a number of mightily upstaging-y things you could do. Yeah, including going sort of starting off very interested and then maybe nodding off, and then it was fabulous. I thought you'd had such a great time with it, Aliki and Lynn. Oh,
I was enjoying myself.
Yeah. You knew what you were saying, though, a bit, didn't you?
A bit.
Alan.
Yeah, I think there were a couple of points at which Morose was attempting to leave and True-wit is pulling him back.
Yeah.
Grabbing the back of his gown to stop him leaving.
Mm-hmm. I also think... sorry, Alan.
And I think the other thing is that the original audience who would have been most entertained by this scene were probably the boys of the company, who were Latins, who were having to do Latin for God knows how many hours a week.
Yes, I mean it's one of those sort of open questions about how educated the audience for a boys' company were. Do they reflect the kind of educated people doing the performance, or whether that's just they're just doing it because that's what they're trained to do a lot of the time. And a lot more Latin was about in those days than now. So I think it's still relatively straightforward Latin that I think a more general audience might have be able to pick up from an oral culture more than a written one. Aliki.
I think another game for True-wit would be to pretend that he can't hear them so that they have to get louder.
Yes, I do like the idea that Morose is practically climbing out of a window and they have to pull him back. Some of that is going, okay, some of that is the opportunity that the text gives us, and some of that is us going, maybe we don't quite trust this scene enough. And I think we need to find a balance between the two. Greg?
I'm just going to say very simply, there's a description very early in the play of this guy with his caps around his ears. And by this point, I think I would definitely, if it was me directing it, I would definitely put him in increasing number of caps.
Yes.
Just work the joke up so that eventually he's got this cap, a huge towering cap over on his head. And multiple layers around the ears. I mean, obviously you've got to make sure you can hear, but the more I see it, the more I read it, the more I think, yeah, you've got to make the caps a joke.
Yeah, he's basically a Mondasian Cyberman by the time he gets to the final scene. Right, final scene of the play. We're here. We have reached the catastrophe. Will Morose be able to arrange a divorce? Will anyone get what they want out of this play? Can anyone remember what some of the characters wanted at the beginning of the play? Because a lot of this is driven by some motivation, which it's been so long since we started the play, you might have forgotten. So some of this is happening for a reason and not just shits and giggles. Anyway, it's probably a bit. Lynn.
Dauphine wants money, but that's not hard to remember because that's always what the plot is in these comedies. Is the nephew wants money?
Yes. So will Epicene be divorced? Will Dauphine get his money? Will everyone else turn out to just be annoying? We will now find out in Act 5, Scene 4. Epicene runs in, followed by Haughty, Centaure, Mavis, Mistress, Otter, Door, and Amorous le Fool.
I will not endure it any longer, ladies. I beseech you, help me. This is such a stranger wrong as never was offered to poor bride before upon her marriage day. To have her husband conspire against her, and a couple of mercenary companions to be brought in for form's sake, to persuade an separation? Oh, if you had blood or virtue in you, gentlemen, you would not suffer such an earwigs about a husband, or scorpions to creep between man and wife.
Oh, the variety and changes of my torment.
Let them be cuddled out of doors by our grooms.
I'll lend you my footman.
We'll have our men blanket them in the hall.
As there was one at our house, madam, for peeping in at the door.
Content, in faith.
Stay, ladies and gentlemen. You'll hear before you proceed.
I'll have the bridegroom blanketed too.
Begin with him first.
Yes, by my troth.
Oh, mankind generation.
Ladies, for my sake, forbear.
Yes, for Sir Dauphine's sake.
He shall command us.
And he is as fine a gentleman of his inches, madam, as any about the town, and wears as good colours when he lists.
Be brief, sir, and confess your infirmity. She'll be afire to be quit of you if she but hear that name once. You shall not entreat her to stay. She'll fly you, like one that had the marks upon him.
Ladies, I must crave all your pardons.
Silence, ladies.
For a wrong I have done to your whole sex in marrying this fair and virtuous gentlewoman.
Hear him, good ladies.
Being guilty of an infirmity which before I conferred with these learned men I thought I might have concealed.
But now, being better informed in his conscience by them, he is to declare it and to give satisfaction by asking your public forgiveness.
I am no man, ladies.
How?
Utterly unable in nature by reason of frigidity to perform the duties or any the least office of a husband.
And upon him, prodigious creature.
Bridegroom uncarnate.
And would you offer it to a young gentlewoman?
A lady of her longings.
But a device. This smells rankly, ladies. A mere comment of his own.
Why, if you suspect that, ladies, you may have him searched.
As the custom is, by a jury of physicians.
Yes, faith, will be brave.
Oh, not me. Must I undergo that?
No, let women search him, madam. We can do it ourselves.
Out on me! Worse!
No, ladies, you shall not need. I will take him with all his faults.
Worst of all!
Why then, 'tis no divorce, doctor, if she consent not. No, if the man be frigidus, it is de parte uxoris that we grant libellum divortii in law.
It is the same in theology.
Worse than worst.
Nay, sir, be not utterly disheartened. We have yet a small relic of hope left, as near as our comfort is blown out. Clarimont, produce your brace of knights. What was that, Master Parson, you told me in Errore Qualitas in now? Dauphine, crisp with the bride, that she carried as if she were guilty and ashamed.
Marry, sir, in errore qualitatis, which Master Doctor did forbear to urge, if she be found corrupta, that is, vitiated or broken up, that was pro virgine desponsa espoused for a maid.
What then, sir?
It doth dirimere contractum, and iritum redere too.
If this be true, we are happy again, sir, once more. Here an honourable race of knights that shall affirm so much.
Pardon us, good Master Clarimont.
You shall excuse us, Master Clarimont.
Nay, you must make it good now, knights. There is no remedy. I'll eat no words for you, nor no man. You know you spoke it to me.
Is this gentleman-like, sir?
Centaure is worse than Sir Amorous, fiercer a great deal. Sir Amorous, beware, there be 10 doors in this Clarimont.
I'll confess it, sir.
Will you, Sir Amorous, will you wound reputation?
I'm resolved.
So should you be too, Jackdaw. What should keep you off? She's but a woman, and in disgrace he'll be glad on it.
Will he? I thought he would have been angry.
You will dispatch, knights. It must be done in faith.
Why, and it must, it shall, sir, they say. They'll ne'er go back. Do not tempt his patience.
Is this true indeed?
Yes, I assure you, sir.
What is true, gentlemen? What do you assure me?
That we have known your bride, sir.
In good fashion. She was our mistress, or so.
You must be plain, knights, as you were to me.
Aye, the question is if you have carnaliter or no.
Carnaliter, what else, sir?
It is enough. Plain nullity.
I am undone. I am undone.
Oh,
Let me worship and adore you, gentlemen.
I am undone.
Yes, to my hand I thank these knights. Master Parson, let me thank you otherwise.
Gives him money.
and have they confessed?
Now out upon them, informers!
You see what creatures you may bestow your favours on, madams.
I would accept against them as beaten knights wench and not good witnesses in law.
Oh, gentlewoman, how she takes it!
Be comforted, Morose. I'll love you the better for it.
So do I protest.
Oh, gentlemen, you have not known her since matrimonium.
Oh, not today, Master Doctor.
No, sir, not today.
Why, then I say for any act before the matrimonium, perfect, unless the worshipful bridegroom did precisely before witness demand if she were Virgo ante nuptias.
No, that he did not, I assure you, Master Doctor.
If she cannot prove that, it is ratum conjugium, notwithstanding the premises, and they do in no way impedire, and this is my sentence. This I pronounce.
I am of Master Doctor's resolution too, sir. If you made not that demand, ante nuptias.
And I'm going to pause us there before Morose says how sad he is, because that's what he's going to do in a second now. So Morose looks. It's just like it. You've got people to come out and attack a woman's virtue. You've tried everything you can to persuade her by confessing that you are impotent in front of all your family and friends, and that hasn't worked either. Will Morose ever get a divorce? Any thoughts before we come into the final catastrophe? How's Morose going to get divorced? For those who haven't read the play before. No? Okay. I had to ask the question. We will move on. Morose, you're not very happy. Carry on, please.
Oh, my heart. Wilt thou break? Wilt thou break? This is the worst of all worst that hell could have devised. Oh, marry a whore and so much noise.
I see now plain confederacy in this doctor and this parson to abuse a gentleman. You study his affliction. I pray, be gone, companions. And gentlemen, I begin to suspect you for having parts with them. Sir, will it please you to hear me?
Oh, do not talk to me. Take not from me the pleasure of dying in silence, nephew.
Sir, I must speak to you. I have been long your poor, despised kinsman, and many a hard thought has strengthened you against me. But now I shall appear, if either I love you or your peace, and prefer them to all the world besides. I will not be long or grievous to you, sir. If I free you of this unhappy match absolutely and instantly, after all this trouble, and almost in your despair, now I wish...
It cannot be.
Sir, that you be never troubled with a murmur of it more, and shall I hope for, or deserve of you...
Oh, what wilt thou, nephew? Thou shalt deserve me, and have me.
Shall I have your favour, perfect to me, and love hereafter?
That and anything beside. Make thine own conditions. My whole estate is thine. Manage it, and I will become thy ward.
Nay, sir, I will not be so unreasonable.
Will Sir Dauphine be mine enemy too?
You know, I have been long a suitor to you, uncle, and that out of your estate, which is 1,500 a year, you will allow me but 500 during life, and assure the rest upon me after, to which I have often, by myself and friends, tendered you a writing to sign, which you would never consent or incline to, if you please, but effect it now.
But thou shalt have it, nephew. I will do it and more.
If I quit you not presently and forever of this cumber, you shall have power instantly, for all these to revoke your act, and I will become whose slave you will give me to forever.
Where is the writing? I will seal to it, that or to a blank, and write thine own conditions.
Oh me, most unfortunate, wretched gentlewoman.
Will Sir Dauphine do this?
Good sir, have some compassion on me.
Oh, my nephew knows you, belike, the way crocodile.
He does it not sure without good grounds.
Yes, sir.
Gives him the parchments.
Come, nephew, give me the pen. I will subscribe to anything and seal to what thou wilt for my deliverance. Thou art my restorer. Here I deliver thee as my deed. If there be a word lacking or rich with false orthography, I protest before heaven I will not take the advantage.
Then here is your release, sir.
And takes off Epicene's peruke and other disguises.
You have married a boy, a gentleman's son, that I have brought up this half year as my great charges. And for this composition, which I have now made with you, you say you, Master Doctor, this is gestum impenditatum. I hope era personae?
Oh, yes, sir, in primo gradu.
In primo gradu.
I thank you, good Dr. Cutbeard and Parson Otter.
Yes, and they pull off their false beards and gowns.
You are beholden to them, sir, that have taken this pains for you, and my friend, Master True-wit, who enables them for the business. Now you may go in and rest. Be as private as you will, sir.
Exit Morose.
I'll not trouble you till you trouble me with your funeral, which I care not how soon it come. Cutbeard, I'll make your lease good. Thank me not, but with your leg, Cutbeard, and Tom Otter, your princess shall be reconciled to you. How now, gentlemen? Do you look at me?
A boy.
Yes, Mistress Epicene.
Oh, Dauphine, you have lurched your friend to the better half of the garland by concealing this part of the plot. But much good do it thee. Thou deservest it, lad. And Clarimont, for thine unexpected bringing these two to confession. Where my part of it, really? Nay, Centaure and Sulla fool, you see the gentlewoman that has done you the favours. We're all thankful to you, and so should the womankind here, especially if you're lying on her, though not with her. You meant so, I'm sure, but that we have stuck it upon you today in your own imagined persons, and so lately this Amorous, the champion of the sex, should break you now thriftily for the common slanders which ladies receive from such cuckoos as you are. You are they that, when no merit or fortune can make you hope to enjoy their bodies, will yet lie with their reputations and make their fame suffer. Away, ye common moths of these, and all ladies' honours. Go, travel to make legs and faces, and come home with some new matter to be laughed at. You deserve to live in an air as corrupted as that wherewith you feed rumour.
Exeunt Dor and La Fool.
Madams, you are mute upon this new metamorphosis. But here stands she that has vindicated your fames. Take heed of such insecti hereafter, and let it not trouble you that you have discovered any mysteries to this young gentleman. He's almost of years, and will make a good visitant within this 12 months. In the meantime, we'll all undertake for his secrecy that can speak so well of his silence.
Coming forward to the audience.
Spectators, if you like this comedy, rise cheerfully. And now Morose is gone in, clap your hands. It may be that noise will cure him, at least please him.
And exeunt. So, curtain call, Morose coming on, just saying, shush, no, stop clapping. Okay, lots of things to obviously unpack here. So it's a boys' company play, and it was a boy all along.
Who could have guessed that underneath that was a boy? I mean, wow.
Yeah, and especially as, they're all boys.
That's what I mean.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where the original performance conditions are, in a sense, the only way to really, really be able to enjoy that joke and knowing, because you wouldn't necessarily automatically assume, because it's like, if they're in disguise in a modern production, then well, you're sort of going, well, the disguise had better be good. Lynn.
Yeah, the original, I think one of the reasons that this play hasn't gotten a lot of stage time is because the original production conditions were like so important. But I have seen it, at the Actors Renaissance season, which they don't do anymore in Stanton, where you have a company of 15 actors, and their cross-gender casting is really normal for them. So you have a woman playing Mute, and you have a guy playing Epicene, and you think, as an audience member, oh, that's just how they how they do this, because they do because people just get cast against gender type fairly regularly. So it was so it works under those kind of conditions. I have also read about a professional production, where they just the actor playing Epicene was just a very convincing drag actor, and because I think it was professional, you had to have the actor's name in the program, but his name was John Hannah, so they listed him as Hannah John, so the audience could be faked out. So it's been a little tricky, but I think we live in an era where a lot of people from various disciplines are thinking about gender as something that is performed, not just on stage, but in our daily lives. So I really think this play is kind of ripe for revival, because that our thinking about gender and is changing, and more people are now presenting themselves as non-binary, and some of those are, a few of those are professional actors. So, I mean, I think we're in an era where you could do this.
Greg, I suspect you're going to bring up the 2020 production by Edwards Boys.
No, I didn't see it. No, interestingly, I have got the edition that was brought out when a certain company did this many years ago. But the only way I knew what the giveaway, what the reveal at the end was because of what Lynn brought up about the casting. So that was the only way I guessed it. I'm just curious, Aliki, what was it in the title? Was it the fact it was the silent woman?
Oh, because Epicene means ambiguous of gender.
Yes, and even more so in the more modernized iteration as well. So that's one of the reasons I had the note about what is the name of the character and what is their if you add the O in, it slightly disguises it's the way it lands. Allegedly, I'm reading off in the footnote here.
I don't know. I mean, you have a Greek speaker in the house, and that Epicene means that which is held in common. So it you'd have to twist your mind a bit to get it, but still.
Other thoughts? Actually, I don't think Edwards Boys production. I think it was on top of COVID, so there might be a recording of it.
What was that bit about going travelling to get legs and faces? I don't understand. I loved it, but to go travel to make legs and faces and come.
I'll have to find where it is.
It's just before the end, before Exeat Door.
It's in True-wit's final wrap-up.
Is it about making more children or something and come home with some new matter to be laughed at?
No, I think it's basically go visit foreign courts and bow and scrape to whoever's there.
Yeah, bowing and scraping, that sort of fits. I will have a little look for see if there's a more official.
Anyway, I love it. It's a marvelous thing to say.
Aliki.
So, okay, as well as gender blind casting being a habit of a company, you can also have all female or all male casting happening more and more. I was briefly part of an all female company, and we had a lot of fun with the kind of misogynist stuff that when you hear women say it lands quite differently. But the thing that you can't really get over, I think, or you'd have to find another way around, is that the big joke on Daw and Le Fool is that they have either confessed to not being able to tell the difference or to having had gay sex, which again.
Well, no, I don't think. In fact, we're literally at the bit Susan was bringing up is the point when True-wit comes around and says you go around slandering women's reputations by bragging about something that never happened. And that's the point. And there's this weird thing that comes from True-wit, and I'm sitting there going, hang on, when did True-wit you're saying True-wit's been pretending to be an arsehole all the way through, and this is, and that suddenly he's there to highlight other people's moral failings, or is this just a bit?
Yeah, is he desperately backpedaling since he wasn't in on the joke to find a moral high ground, to find a high ground to stand on, even if it has to be a moral one?
Because in a sense, that's why I was bringing up earlier. The whole thing about them bragging about sleeping with Epicene at that point was going to have some payback later on. And I think there's something actually quite useful here in this idea of this is what men do. Bragging about, oh yeah, we did this and we did that, and actually just that someone in the play goes, yeah, don't do that. That's really that's just showing you up for how weak and insecure you are. It's just coming from True-wit, and I'm just going, no.
Maybe it can come from someone else.
Yeah, that was my thought. Lynn.
True-wit just likes to see people squirm. So that's that. I mean, I think that's what motivates that. It's like, oh ho, I have I have another way of torturing these two guys who are not as smart as me and so make easy marks for me. So yeah, he just likes to torment people, and he's quick-witted enough to see, oh, here's a weapon.
Well, here's a question. How many of this unholy trinity do we need? Obviously, Dauphine is needed. He's, the central plot driver on some level, that he's set up Morose so that he can get money out of him. And here's the paperwork I keep bringing up that you refuse to sign. That's the central arc of this story. Morose wants, doesn't want to give anything to Dauphine. He gets married to someone he doesn't like, and he wants a divorce. And then some other stuff happens around it. Do we need three of them? Do we need a Clarimont and a True-wit? Are we looking at, they oil the wheels, but there's times where I'm going, is our journey really necessary? Could we make them into slightly more interesting people?
There's something about three, though. It's really
there is
structurally.
It's fun.
But we had such a good double act from Otter and Cutbeard. Props to them, actually, for this late blossoming of the Otter. So yeah, there was something there. I mean, structurally, the Act 5 again is very quite clearly defined here, in the sense that all of the Otter Cutbeard stuff, though, even though we were thinking the scene's too long and it may have. History may not have been kind to it. It then does lead into this final moment quite neatly. All of these little steps are all quite well defined. We can't really question. Jonson's structure is good. The problem with Jonson's structure is it takes so long to get going. And this is what we found last time. Act 4 was great, the second half of Act 4. But the first half of Act 4, we're going, it's all set up. We could almost argue that most of Acts 1, 2, and 3 is all set up. There are some incidents in Acts 1, 2, and 3. But in that sense, there is stuff to cut here, but there's not as much as you'd think. Whereas in the first half of the play, there's quite a lot to cut. It's just I'm not quite sure where to do it.
I have a dim and distant memory of doing Bartholomew Fair, and it being really physical. We did it in a garden in Oxford. Maybe there's something to be said for this being very, very physical.
Oh yeah,
especially last act. Last act was incredibly physical business, and there's room for. I mean, all that stuff with Morose, being chased by legalese could be quite physical. And again, I'm not going to talk about the first three acts because I wasn't here for these sessions. Aliki.
Yeah, and I think part of the trick is to have these really kind of physicalized, characterized characters, so that Daw and Amorous are obvious buffoons from the first time they enter as well.
Yeah. Yes, the two knights are and
if they're always making legs and grimacing, then that legs and faces works too.
But it's interesting also because again, this is clearly an author's decision. Discuss that after the boy is unmasked, and True-wit makes reference to this. Is all the women are silent from that point onwards.
Yeah.
Upon this new metamorphosis, and it's just the blokes from that point onwards. And that's part of my thoughts about, what do we do with this final thought of True-wit, which is give it to somebody else, who's probably, because I think, there is a structural misogyny problem in the play. Ben Jonson isn't he is poking fun at people who are misogynist, but he is still also promoting misogyny at the same time. And we can't wholly step away from that or wholly gloss it because it is baked in through the schema. So thinking on, on that thought. Other thoughts, final thoughts, anything we haven't said? Because, of course, we have done 4 sessions, so I suspect if we are just going to repeat ourselves, we don't need to. Lynn.
Yeah, so in the last scene, I don't know if that stage direction is authentic, and of course the placement of stage directions is always a little dicey. When I saw this in Stanton, Morose didn't exit until Dauphine had said the line, "The next time you trouble me will be with your funeral, and I don't care how soon that is." And the space that this was performed in was, sort of a reproduction Jacobean theater with universal lighting. So you're very aware of as an audience member, you're very aware of the rest of the audience as well as what's going on stage. And, we're having fun and it's just moving along like gangbusters and it's so hilarious and that was actually a man playing a woman was actually a man. And then and particularly the way the actor delivered this line, and next time you trouble me will be with your funeral, and I don't care how soon that is. All of a sudden, everybody just kind of went, ew. You could actually sort of hear the intake of breath in the audience, like, and all of a sudden it's just the fun kind of turns ugly for just that moment.
I'm so sorry. I think I missed that. Yeah, I mean that's really great.
Yeah. So I mean, you could deliver it differently. You could wait until he's out of the room, but it's an interesting choice on Jonson's part. He could have had Dauphine say, "Now look, like, you've been a jerk to me. I've been a jerk to you. Quits are even. Can we be friends now? Can we,
Well, again,
you're my uncle. Like, you don't spend, you just, you're basically a miser. You don't actually need the 500 a month. It won't make any difference to the way you live. Can we just sort of bury the hatchet?" But he doesn't do that.
It's interesting because Morose says nothing after the reveal either. I mean, again, another person who says nothing. Very few people speak after the reveal.
Yeah.
So Morose's exit is quite ambiguous because is he happy? Is he just going, "Yay, I got a divorce"? I mean, frankly, this is the least indignity of the last week.
Yeah. Is he relieved? Is he resigned? Is he furious? What? Yeah.
And it's just like, we just dismiss you with, see you till your funeral. So I think there's a lot of play there, and a darker tone to that is kind of fine because that's, this is not, again, this is quite an acidic comedy in that sense.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts before we close? Greg?
I was just going to say I've was long been hoping I'd be in the room for this one. And it's Jonson. Yes, it's long, but the payoff is so glorious in its own way. And yes, you need to find a modern way of doing it. It's a really interesting play, and I think Morose is probably one of the most funniest characters for all the wrong reasons I've seen in a long time.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's full of potential, but it's also full of pitfalls. And as ever, it's they who cut the text write the text in this, and even more so in this instance, when there is a lot to remove. Less so than, as I say, in many other Jonson plays. And we will be coming to Bartholomew Fair sometime soon. When we finish Bartholomew Fair, may not be so soon, but we
take a few sessions.
Yeah, but it'll take 2 weeks. It is unbelievably massive, full of good stuff. Again, no spoilers, but again, there's just too much stuff. And after that, actually, Ben Jonson plays settle down to a median length. They're not short, but they don't. I don't think he gets as long again after that. I could be wrong. Any more? I think we've more than kicked the tires on this one over the last couple of weeks. So all that remains, thank all the wonderful readers for all their wonderful reading. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye. A lady of her longings.